What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is January the 7th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So as far as data points, you have JOLT numbers coming out at 9 a.m. So a good hour and a half from now. But you can kind of tell that there is a certain level of hesitation only because I'm going to go over what big money is really kind of trading this morning. But the frequency and just overall volume is very, very low. So again, I think there's just a certain level of hesitation. CES is also kicking off as well. So that could cause some stocks to really move to the next leg up. We've already seen ticker MU and a couple other ones really move higher. But like I said, I think it's just market is waiting for good data to justify maybe higher highs. Because I think at the same time, what Cook said yesterday about the markets just being very, very overvalued is resonating a little bit with some stocks. But starting off, NASDAQ is up 0.05, S&P 0.19, and Dow is up 0.02. So it is recovering from kind of the negative pre-market, like overnight kind of stuff that's been happening. But fear and greed index is under the fear category. Somewhat resemblant based on the stocks so far today, but I think that this has just been broken for a while. Not really sure how it can be broken, but it's definitely not been portraying accurately what the market is truly feeling. But starting off, SoFi is kind of just piggybacking off of the broader market a little bit, so it is down slightly. No news, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. As far as this goes, so shorts, 12.93% of the free float is being shorted. Shorts didn't do jack all yesterday, so most likely they are waiting for data to justify doubling down or maybe continuing to pull back, but it is going to come back onto the data with it. Right now, pre-market at 15.28. It is trading between these 2 points, so it's R1 and the pivot. 15.65 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, followed by 14.83 being the next strong support. So yesterday kind of trade fully within this range, so the R1 and pivot, and it didn't touch either of them, so we kind of don't really know if it's strong support and resistance at this stage, but most likely it will continue to trade within this range. But I have a weird feeling that the JOLT numbers are going to be good, propelling it to the R1, but we'll just have to wait and see. So ticker FUBO. So this one has honestly blown a lot of people's expectations like out of the water. Did go up 251% yesterday, up 6.52% this morning. So piggybacking off of yesterday's news, nothing new in that regard. So this is what really prompted it. So it looks like it's combining with Hulu and live TV and something else like that, and it looks like there was also a lawsuit that was settled. So pretty good stuff in that regard. A lot of big money is getting in. I think this is the second most traded stock so far this morning, so we'll see if it can continue its run up. But at the same time, I like to analyze what options was really pointing to, and there was a lot of puts being purchased. So I think some people anticipate this to be somewhat short-lived and that there's going to be a pullback. But again, sometimes people are wrong, especially through options. 13.5% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 44.16 million shares overall are being shorted. Yesterday, shorts did return a little bit. Nothing substantial, but looks like went from 13.54 to 13.5. So they didn't really do all that much. Same goes for in SoFi's case. I'm not going to go over the fib levels because it's above every single one of them. So it's either in breakout territory or either it's going to get humbled and get dragged back down. But ticker MU, they are having a fairly good morning, largely up because of the whole CES. And so as of right now, it is up 4.07%. No actual dedicated news to MU this morning. You can kind of just see it's right here. And so it's because of NVDA and the whole CES, that is why essentially it is kind of moving higher. Not heavily shorted, so 3.4% of the free floats being shorted. Works out to be 37.73 million shares overall are being shorted. And you can kind of see shorts have started to get in a little bit more, but not a squeeze play, not heavily shorted. Don't kind of misinterpret what I'm saying here. So they show that they anticipate a little bit more downside. That's why they've been getting in, but still only 3.4% of the free float is being shorted. And right now with it at 103, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So one key one to really get over resistance point, it's going to be $104. That is going to be in the short term, followed by 110. Flip side, 93 is going to be the next strong support, which obviously won't be touched. And there's a lot of volatility lately, and this is why you see very wide gaps. This stock I actually did put as a buy signal on my Patreon. After it did pull back, I signaled it was a buy at $87 because anyone who wasn't buying it at that stage was Delulu. That's the most insane discounted price that you could ever get. So lucky to those individuals that did buy the dip like myself. So raise your hand if you did. I still think that there's a hell of a lot more room in the coming quarters for it to continue to move up, but definitely pop over to my Patreon. I have a lot of other buy signals on there, but ticker MSAI. So this one is the most heavily traded stock so far this morning, and it is up 88.5% because of this news right here. And so MultiSensor AI announces next steps in leadership optimization plan as it prepares for rapid growth. In my opinion, and I always like to play devil's advocate, I'm not a pumper. I'm not one of those typical YouTubers that says, hey, it's going to go to the moon and all this other stuff. I'm fairly realistic. I don't see anything special about this news. It looks like just a management change, unless there is more to it behind the scenes associated to this company. But I just don't see it being justified for it to be up this amount. At the same time, why that much big money is actually getting into it right now. But I must be missing some dynamic of it. It is not heavily shorted, so that's not really a factor. 0.75% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 68.65 thousand shares overall are being shorted. So they're not a part of it moving higher or whatever else. At the same time, though, it's above all the key fib levels, so it's honestly the same goes for that FUBO. It's either going to get very humbled by the market, drag back down, or it's going to continue its kind of next leg up. A lot of stocks did that over the last 2 months, so it could happen, but like I said, I don't see it being justified whatsoever. But you do whatever floats your boat. Last but not least, ticker AUR, and so it is up 32.31% because of this right here. So it looks like they have a partnership now with NVDA to deploy driverless trucks at scale. So pretty good stuff. Actually, it'll be interesting to see what 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 is kind of doing right now. So they're up 1.92%. I feel like they would be negatively impacted by this news right here. But aside from that, pretty good stuff. Anyone doing anything with, for the most part, Palantir or NVIDIA, stock just generally goes higher as a byproduct of that. It's not heavily shorted, so 6.31% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 63.81 million shares overall are being shorted. And just generally, shorts have been starting to get out quite a lot over the greater part of the last 6 months. So I think there's been a sense of just higher highs coming and whatever else, even though the stock price, actually no, the stock price has been moving up. So up 86.78% over the last 1 year. So yeah, this stock definitely, I think I like the news. Is it justified to, would I pay $8 for this? Most likely not. Would wait for a little bit of a pullback in reality, but with $8.46, it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So 821 is going to be the next strong support, and followed by 579. Flip side, 970, and then 1213 is going to be the next strong kind of resistance slash target points. Again, I probably wouldn't buy it. I would wait for a little bit of a pullback, probably to this R1 maybe. But I think that this stock, given the news, is going to continue to move higher. That's just how I see it. So let me know your viewpoint on these stocks. Is there any other stocks that is floating your boat today, or are you selling? Are you worried about what Cook said yesterday? What's your overall thoughts? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.